Although most of the growth of our cool season species occurs at a time when our warm season grasses are dormant, we have to realize that these cool season grasses reach their peak growth, their peak accumulation of forage mass or biomass during April. And that's a time of year that is really critical for the warm season grasses. That's when the warm season grasses break dormancy and initiate their spring growth. And so if there's a lot of competition there from cool season species, that can present a real problem for our warm season grasses. We got a tremendous explosion of annual bluegrass in here. There's a tremendous amount of little barley, and this large volume of these annuals, these winter annuals, can be a problem for our warm season species. We have to be prepared to try to control a lot of the cool season competition to make sure it doesn't overwhelm our warm season grass during the month of April. Cool season weeds such as this annual bluegrass or this perennial cool season tall fescue right here commonly encroach into warm season grass pastures, but the good news is they're relatively easy to control, and that's because they're actively growing, as their name implies, during the cool season. That's a time of year when warm season species are dormant, and so we can take advantage of broad spectrum herbicides such as glyphosate during, for instance, late February, preferably on into March, even late March, to treat these cool season species and eliminate them from our stand at a time of year when we will not disturb the warm season species. Now these can be grazed, they're good forages, and grazing them during the cool season and keeping their growth down at that time of year is also a good strategy, but if they reach the level that we wanted to get rid of them, we can always spray them during the dormant season. When we do take advantage of the dormant season to control cool season weeds within our warm season pastures, we have to remember that we want to be spraying these competitors when they're actively growing. And so that really gives us about two important opportunities. One would be late fall, one would be late winter. One of the challenges when we spray in late winter or late fall is that we want to make sure that our warm season grasses are in fact dormant. Now in the fall of the year, if we miss our timing and we end up spraying plants that are not completely dormant, we can have a pretty big impact on them. That's a time of year when these grasses are particularly vulnerable to herbicides, warm season species that are going dormant. In the spring of the year, though, if we miss that dormancy window by just a little bit, these grasses are actually very forgiving. So for instance, if we sprayed a light rate of glyphosate right now on this warm season pasture, we would ding it up, but we wouldn't kill any of our warm season grasses. So timing is very important, and just be cautious in the spring to pay attention to how actively growing your warm season crop is. And again, the same issue in the fall following a frost. Just make sure that that grass is actually dormant before you treat it.